Welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. Jeremy Heslop joins me in studio. He is our director of recruiting at Ramsey Solutions, and I wanted you folks to have his perspective. He leads an entire team that are out there looking for the right talent, not just talent, the right talent to sit in the right seat on the bus, and it's really invaluable stuff. If you just joined us here live on YouTube, he talked about 4 areas that we need to see a fit here at Ramsey Solutions: skill, likability, values, and then, of course, do you agree on the money principles? Because most companies that are very serious are going to have a serious set of principles and cultures related to their product and service. So we are offering products and services in this area of money. You got to be on the same page, or else we're all just acting. So really great stuff. So let's keep going. Here we go. I'm going to hit you with a list. You ready to go?
Yep.
This is great advice,
Let's
folks.
hit it.
Here it comes. The best way to prepare for the interview. Now, I got thoughts on this. You've seen my thoughts, but I want to know, if you were coaching everybody listening and watching right now, what would you tell them? Best way to prepare?
Prepare is to actually practice, do a mock interview. Actually think through what is your elevator pitch for why you'd like the position. Be clear on how you're going to communicate about who you are, your experience. Make sure that there's not gaps that are going to leave people confused. I'd actually go through and have someone, a friend, a spouse, someone actually ask you questions. You have 15 common questions.
Oh, yeah.
That's written out there. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
You can go through those and practice. How do you answer those? Yeah. In addition to that, I want you to actually take in some time and write out questions that you're going to ask. I've yet to ever be in an interview where the person interviewing doesn't say, well, what questions do you have for me?
All right, so this is where I interrupt. He's absolutely right. 2 things. How to win the interview. It's a free guide at kencoleman.com. It's free. I'm not selling you anything. I don't know what you people are doing. I'm doing the homework for you. How to win the interview, the questions he's talking about. And then I would tell you this. I love that you said this, because as you know, in that free guide, I point out the way to stand out in the interview is the questions that you ask. I'll never forget, Jeremy, a couple of years ago, a guy was applying to be the marketer for all my stuff here at Ramsey Solutions. And the personality doesn't get involved until way down the road.
Right.
So he's obviously a solid candidate. And so I'm not making the decision whether or not he or she gets fired unless I have some real red flags. And I had one major red flag. Conversation with this young guy went great. And at the end, I said, well, do you have any questions for me? Keep in mind, folks, I'm creating content. I'm trying to help transform people's lives. It's pretty serious stuff.
Yeah.
I say to him, do you have any questions for me? He goes, no, I'm good. And I thought to myself, everything in me, Jeremy, to not say, no, actually, you're not good at all. You're terrible. The questions you ask, why does that stand out to you, a recruiter?
Well, one, you tell how serious that person is.
Yeah.
You can tell what research they've done ahead of time. When I'm interviewing a recruiter to join my team, one of the very first questions I'll just ask right at the very beginning was, what have you found out about me? Because I want to know. I mean, you're a recruiter. You should probably know everything about me, right?
Yeah. What if they don't?
If they don't, then we can just go ahead and shut it down there.
I love that.
Because if you haven't done the basic thing that your job will ask you and require you to do, this is done.
Yeah.
But asking good questions. Ask questions about me. What questions? That's what I'll ask. I'll look and say, hey, you did some research. You looked on LinkedIn. You looked at all the socials. What did you find about me? What questions do you have? I've left a couple things on my LinkedIn or on socials that I know people can see just because you should ask a question about it.
Yeah.
Like it absolutely drives me crazy that person didn't look at you and say, like, where are you headed? What is your vision?
Can you imagine?
I mean,
how about, hey, Ken, why do you care so deeply about people working on purpose?
There's so
how about that
many
one?
questions.
I would have started with that one.
Yeah, there's so many.
I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely. So think about the questions. Write them out. Does this make sense? What about the job? What does winning look like in this role? How do I know 6 months from now that I would be doing this job and you'd feel like it's a success?
All right. Let's get some quick red flags. And then I asked you to come in with a doozy.
Yeah.
I said, of all the people, you've got to have some doozy stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we're going to get to that shortly. That's going to be entertaining. But quick, red flags. What are some red flags where it's just like that instance, that red flag there? If somebody doesn't do some research on you, you're toast.
Red flags to me, the first one is that they feel so rehearsed and like somebody else told them this is what I'm supposed to say. It's just
right.
not a natural, here's
Yeah.
how I communicate.
Yeah.
Are they comfortable?
Yeah.
That's something I look at. Now, not everybody is a people person, so I understand that. If
Sure.
you're
They're nervous. Yeah.
If you're interviewing a developer, they're going to have a little different personality than someone who's going to be in sales.
Right.
So you have to understand that. But if they aren't asking the questions like we talked about, if they haven't thought through good responses, if they don't know themselves, that's probably one of my biggest ones.
Yeah.
Do you know what you want to do?
Right.
And I think we've all interviewed somebody, we've hired someone we had a red flag that we didn't pay attention to.
Yeah.
And later on we think, they didn't want to do this.
No. And we skip over it because we're so, listen, employers, we get so scared that we're not going to fill the position soon enough that we'll make a bad decision.
And that'll cost you so much more money in the long run.
And time.
Yes.
Time and money. Two biggest time and money costs for companies are bad hires. That's Harvard Business Review. That's not Ken's opinion, but it is my opinion too.
It's the right one.
It's the right one. All right, so let's talk about a doozy. You got a doozy of a story for us?
Yeah.
What you got?
Well, I have a couple different options we can go here.
Oh, I like
I'm going
more.
to give you my personal one that is just one that always
Give
sticks
me
out
your
to me.
personal favorite.
Okay. My personal favorite, as I'm sitting down, I actually didn't always lead recruiting. I used to lead sales.
You were leading a team here at Ramsey Solutions.
Yeah, I did that for about 8 years before coming to HR. I was leading a sales team, and at that time I had about 35 different people in sales who were all on the phone. They're high-powered, energetic, and we had a support team as well. And I'm interviewing this guy, and I started sensing something is off. And I finally just looked at him and was like, do you like people? And he looked at me and goes, no. I really don't like people.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The irony there is he's applying for a sales job where he's talking to people all day long.
Yeah, right.
But I love that he was also honest. I don't love that he showed up for that role, but I do love that when confronted, he at least owned it.
Yeah. No, I don't like people. Okay.
What did you do after that?
I was like, well, that's kind of a big deal for me, for this team, for this company. I want people who actually like people. And then we just kind of ended it. I was like,
okay. Good luck with
let's
that.
find something different for you.
Yeah,
Maybe
you need a job with machines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, you got another doozy?
Yeah. So we get a lot on the before, like in the interview process. My recruiting team has this HR phone screen that's the initial one. Those are where we really see a lot of the doozies.
We could probably turn those into a full podcast. Do you know what I'm saying? Like one of those late night shows? Like where Delilah songs are played on the commercial break.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I can't imagine how wacky the team's out there in the lobby. You guys get some wacky phone interviews, don't you? You feel like, am I on talk radio right now? Is this Howard Stern? Is that kind of stuff?
Is punk still a thing? Yeah.
Okay, give me one. Give me a crazy one.
A crazy one?
Yeah, I need a crazy one.
Okay.
The people want this.
All right. We're talking to a developer. We're really excited about that. As if you've listened to anything of Dave, you know we need developers,
more
technology.
Developers, yeah.
Pretty much every company out there. All right, so Beth, who's now one of our associate directors of recruiting, she's talking to this person, feeling really good, and all of a sudden the person goes, I'm going to require an office. Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
We're at that stage already.
Okay, and why? And, well, I have a gas problem.
Oh, jeez.
I kid you not. And she thought the person was joking.
Yeah.
And the person was dead serious.
Yeah.
I can't be around people. I have a gas problem.
I have a gas problem.
Yeah.
I wonder if what he ate had anything to do with it.
I don't know, but that was one of those
He's
moments.
not willing to change his diet. He just needs an office so that he can pass gas.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a real phone call.
Oh, yeah. And we have people send us stuff all the time. I did like the donuts thing. That was one that could go one of two ways. It depends on how well you present yourself.
That young man handled it really well.
It was great, yeah. We get a lot of things. We had once a cardboard cutout about 6 feet tall of the person. Oddly enough, we hired that person because their resume was fantastic. I will say that disappeared very quickly, and none of that's something that's stuck in
now this
HR.
is interesting. We don't have time to cover this because I got more questions. And I got to tell you, folks, that the person who was on your team that took the gassy developer call, I couldn't help myself. Knowing that it was over, I would stay on the call and go, what foods are, well, we can consider that. What foods cause the most gas? I would feel like I need more information to let this person continue to go on with the absurdity. Jeremy Hessel, we got to get out of here. Great stuff.
Thanks for having me.
RamseySolutions.com. Dave's hiring. If you want to get involved, please take Jeremy's advice and don't tell us about your gas. Nobody wants to know.